going on, everybody? CFC DP here with you, and we're going to do something kind of a little different tonight. We are going to put together the Sunday conversation, kind of with the match review against Tottenham. Both of these things kind of coincide with each other. Today's game only reassured how I feel about my point that I was going to kind of talk about today, so we're just going to kind of tie everything together. I went live right after the game to kind of talk a little bit more specifics, but I think this just makes a little bit more sense because I think it is a bit more, today was a bit of a more holistic output, if you will, for Chelsea, and I think it really showed in the performance, and I think it really showed from the energy and the environment. So yeah, we're going to get into it right now. So my kind of main talking point was last week was, are Chelsea's new owners right for backing Tuchel and saying that this is their manager, they're going to move forward with him, they love their vision, his plan, it all's going to coincide? And I said, yes, certainly. He has shown everything that you want in a manager who's bought in. I mean, I saw this on Twitter, and I forgot who said it, but this is the type of manager that we haven't had in terms of passion and love and understanding of the club since Mourinho. Now, you don't find that often, and I think it's special. And I think the players that he's brought in speak to that. Raheem Sterling is a leader, a smart player, a versatile player. You can depend on him to make good, smart decisions. Koulibaly, the same thing. A leader at the back, smart, seasoned, can fill in for any role. He is a selfless guy, and he will play for the badge that he has on. Cucurella, maybe not as experienced as the two players that I mentioned earlier, but quick, decisive, willing to get his hands dirty a little bit, not afraid to step up to the plate, be physical, and show some toughness. I think that's why he likes Kai Havertz. You could say what you want about Kai and his goal-scoring record, but he does work hard. And I think the shift that he put on against Tottenham kind of showed you that. He works really hard. You can see why he likes a guy like RubenLoftusCheek. You can see why they don't want to get rid of him. He can play a lot of positions. He can play right wing back. He can play central midfield. He's versatile. And all those guys I mentioned earlier are versatile. They can play multiple positions. So I think one of the things that Chelsea's kind of have to get over, and this is the main topic here, is adversity. And you'll say, oh, well, they won the Champions League. They finished top 4 however many years in a row. Haven't they proven themselves? I don't think so, in my opinion. I've seen enough to kind of make the broad assumption that these players are playing too much with their emotions. And you'll say, what do you mean? We love fight. We love playing with emotions. I think that playing with your emotions, being rough and proud and loving your teammates is all important, and I wouldn't change that for the world. But I think that at some points, Chelsea need to learn how to close out games. And it's something that the great teams, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester City, do really well. They will get up on a team and they will finish them off. There won't be anything about that. Now, a lot of those teams, they've had players that have been playing together for a really long time, and that's why I said in my first episode of the Sunday Conversation that we should back Tuchel to the point where everyone knows what to expect from each other. Everybody knows that this is their job that has to get done, and until it gets done, the job's not finished. So what my point is that last year in December, kind of the falling point of the squad when Alonso was out there, Pulisic was out there. There was a lot of different guys in there that kind of have their own agendas at this point. And that's when it fell off. When guys like Chilwell and Reece got hurt, you saw that was an issue, closing out games and finishing it off. I think the character of a player is just as important as physical and technical attributes. You look at the people that Manchester City bring in, and I think outside of maybe Jack Grealish, you have just a bunch of guys that really just want to work hard and win trophies and get better. Same with Liverpool for the most part. I think Chelsea needs to get like that. There's too many people, too many players in this team that are from different regimes that don't want to be here. They are not here playing under the manager that sold them on signing for the club in the first place. And I think that's a huge problem. Because their mentality isn't there. They're not playing to the last bit of the whistle. In today's instance, we saw Anthony Taylor's performance, and we know that probably if there's any other Premier League ref in there or a capable VAR system, that Chelsea more than likely win that game. Maybe 2-0 to 2-1 at the very least. But we saw it last year. There was games against Brighton. There was games against Everton. There was games against Brentford, lower opposition teams, where all of a sudden the switch just goes off for Chelsea, and they just stop. Now, today was not that. Mind you, today was not that. They worked hard to the end. It was an unfortunate circumstance, but there's some problems here that we see. Now, a couple of those problems. One, I think Jorginho, a really good regista, a very nice passer, a good player, he is not fit to play with the physicality of the Premier League. And he's done it for a while now. But I said this in my match preview. If you watched my match preview, I pretty much wrote this game out for you. I said there's going to be goals in the game. I said the problem for Chelsea is going to be if, and I didn't know Kovacic was out at this time. I'd recorded it beforehand. But if Jorginho's in the midfield, he's going to get caught in possession. He's going to give up the ball, and they're going to score. Because it's happened so many times, but we don't learn. Jorginho is a leader on this team, and that's also a problem because you take him off the field and that leadership and that experience is gone. But at a certain point, he just can't do what we need him to do athletically. So you see Chelsea bringing in these players that can kind of assume that leadership under Thomas Tuchel for the extended future. So you can let players like Jorginho go away. And in my opinion, the hope is that Chelsea can get some of these younger guys in that they've been signing, and they become leaders themselves. So that for this next young group that we've been signing can do that. Cucurella could be a leader. Reece James, already a leader. Mason Mount, a leader. Raheem Sterling, a leader. There's several people on this team that aren't leaders. And those are the players that will be leaving in the next 18 months. Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi. Now, you can't have too many leaders because that obviously can be like a too many cooks in the kitchen type of deal where, people have different identities and you need to obviously make captains. But as long as these leaders are all under our main leader in Tuchel and came from him and understand him, then, and only then, can we be as successful as a Manchester City or a Real Madrid. even a Liverpool, I would kind of put them in that category. But Manchester City and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are in that category of sustained excellence for the last 10 years, and you can rely on each of those core guys. Now, you're going to have guys that have talent go in and out of the squad, and that's okay. And there are those players on Chelsea that are important in their own right. But, you're going to need versatile, smart players that are willing to do it all. And I think that's part of the reason why you see Chelsea going after a Declan Rice, a Tchouaméni, a Frankie de Jong, because these players can do everything. They can fit in so many different roles. Leaders at a young age, when you are that talented, the pressure comes with you, if you will. So I think that's kind of one thing that I've taken away from this game is that you see Reece James out there and how he scored the goal, and he's beating his chest, pointing at the badge because he loves this club. And I think that's so important. And I'm the type of person where I appreciate that some of these players have come from Cobham, and I think that it's a smart way to do business. I think the way Bowley is kind of transforming and bringing in these higher level prospects to kind of fill in the ones that we've gotten rid of in the past is so smart, and I hope that's all the best. But the cream rises to the top. I don't want someone to just come into the squad because they came from Cobham. Because if there's a better player out there in the world, we need to be at the level of a Bayern Munich, of a Real Madrid, where we're saying, okay, I appreciate that you came through. We think you're very talented, but you're an asset at this point. We've developed you. We think we can get a fee for you. There's somebody better at the position. We're a huge club. And while we may try to assimilate you in that role, but if it's not working, we have to keep moving. And I think you'll see that from Chelsea. But I think Bowley is trying to brightenize the club a little bit in the sense where we do want to go after top-end talent, but we can also steal some 17, 18-year-olds from these clubs that kind of, they see Chelsea calling and they're saying, well, yeah, I'm going to take that call and see, because you have to keep yourself at that level to win those prospects. But anyways, I think I got a little off track. But yeah, I just think that when you look at how Chelsea is as a team and as a unit, I think that there is a lot of success in the future. I think today was a good step, despite giving up another lead, which needs to be addressed, and that's something that can't happen with these extenuating circumstances of the ref and all that stuff. It was always likely to happen when Anthony Taylor is a ref, which I could make an own show about that, but it's unfortunate that Chelsea keeps getting the short end of the stick because of Anthony Taylor. And I know it's, how do I want to say this? I know that it's almost outrageous to suggest that a Premier League official has a bias against a certain club, but at some point, there's just too many signs that are pointing in the right direction, and it points towards Anthony Taylor. Is it a coincidence that he maybe just is a bad ref and he has his bad moments in big games, which Chelsea are in a lot of big games, and I will say that. Chelsea are in a lot of big games. Anthony Taylor is supposedly one of the best refs in England, and he refs the big games. So Chelsea's in a lot of them. So bigger mistakes, which are more amplified, are going to fall on Anthony Taylor. So logic would explain that that's probably the case. But it just seems a bit damn fishy to me. I can't put my finger on it, but when you're looking at it and you see a player get his hair almost ripped out of his scalp and you don't call a foul, and it goes to a VAR red card check, okay, if you don't think it's a red card, I'm not going to batter you. I think it is, but I'm not going to beat you up over it. why can't we say, and this is probably a bigger rule change, why can't we say, okay, we're looking at it for a severity of a red card. That's a foul regardless. So we're going to call it as a free kick because they went and checked it. They went and checked it and tried to do the due diligence of getting the call right. But they got the call wrong because they're not allowed to change the wrong call to a right call because it wasn't a severity of a wrong call. Which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and it cost Chelsea 2 points. In a huge game against a top 4 competitor, a London rival, and they were just let off the hook. I don't know what to say, but it's difficult. It's really difficult. But I don't think that's necessarily why Chelsea lost. I think Chelsea had a lot of opportunities, and we saw some real liquid football from them. You really saw Tuchel's system and that quick passing. I mean, Cucurella is such a godsend to this team, and I love Ben Chilwell. I think he's a great player, and I think he's going to come back and he's going to be fantastic for us. But Cucurella, man, he moves that ball so well. He's quick, decisive. That's a signing. People are like, 60 million is too much. Please, do you watch him out there? An amazing player. Amazing talent. So, I don't know. I'm kind of at a crossroads. Upset because we did not secure the 3 points, which we should have. Understanding because it's not our fault. Proud because we played really well, and now I have a level of expectation for this team to play like this every single match. But I think, you do see that we do have a need for more midfielders. N'Golo Kante's hurt. Kovacic is hurt. Jorginho can't play every game. God, I hope not. So you're going to see Gallagher, RubenLoftusCheek. Maybe Chukwuemeka is going to come and play some games because he's been practicing first team. Tuchel said he's staying. You could see Harvey Vale come and play an inside position. You could see Chelsea still sign Frankie de Jong. There's a lot of options that need to be sorted out sooner rather than later because right now we're luxuriously playing one game a week. Very soon it's going to be two or three games in a week. And Chelsea's squad is looking a little thin. I know Mason could drop back into a midfield spot, which he might have to. So this might be a chance for Pulisic to capture that spot up top because he came on again today and he came in the 84th minute and it wasn't necessarily spectacular, but he comes on and he does a job. So we're going to need him to do a better job because Chelsea are looking. They're looking for wingers. They're looking to replace him. They know he's leaving next year. It's kind of written in stone, which is sad from an American standpoint that it didn't work. But what do you expect? It's another player who got brought in from another manager who doesn't fit in Tuchel's system. Not as consistent. I'm not mad. I love Pulisic. I think he's great for the U.S. team. Obviously American. I rate him as a player personally. But if he's not good enough for Chelsea level, I'm not going to feel sad for him. Or I'm not going to feel sad that he might be leaving because I want our team to excel and be better. I'm not a bad person for saying that. So yeah, there needs to be some more additions. Chukwuemeka might be coming and playing some games. Gallagher is going to be more important. I think the last thought I just wanted to bring in is RubenLoftusCheek and how impressed I've been with him. The last two seasons, really, the second half of last season, kind of going into this one. He's really embraced that right wing back role, and I think Tuchel is also saw this could actually work a little bit because if you play Reece James at right center back, you give him more liberty to put shots on target. You give him more liberty to put passes into the box. You also give Ruben Loftus-Cheek an opportunity to thrive in a role that he was built for his entire life, to play as an inside 10, as an inside 8. Because that's what the wing backs do on each side. And Ruben looked great. I mean, footwork, outstanding. IQ level, outstanding. Positioning was good. Came back, won defensive duels. Good passing. I think that's a really strong spot for Ruben. And I think in the big games, that's what you're going to see. Because, no offense to Aspie, and Aspie is a great captain. He does a great job for this club. But, man, RubenLoftusCheek looks really good at right wing back. And I wouldn't... There's talks of today of Anthony Gordon potentially moving to Chelsea. And there was a tweet about him potentially playing a right wing back cover. But, man, RubenLoftusCheek is that dude over there. Impressive. I think Ruben is a really exciting player, and I feel really good that he's kind of getting minutes and getting back into the swing of things because we know what kind of talent he is. And he's a guy that is Chelsea through and through, and I think would love to succeed here, and I think Tuchel sees the player there. So it's exciting to see when a player kind of comes back from an injury and really shows up. So that was good from Ruben today. But anyways, okay, so that was today's Sunday conversation. I kind of mixed it in with the Tottenham match review. It was just a little easier to do it like that just because there were so many big topics from this game. A lot of good fights. And, yeah, I was really impressed with Chelsea. So later on this week, we're going to be coming to you. We're going to give you a little bit of a transfer update. I expect there to be a couple inklings and deals, ins and outs going in the next week or so. As we get closer to that September 1st transfer deadline day, we will be previewing Leeds, a huge match, a Leeds team that has shown a lot of resolve, a lot of attitude, and some pretty decent results the first 2 weeks. So that will be quite the test. We have Champions League draw coming up in about 12 days, so we will sort of maybe do a little show about that and say who would we want from each pot, bring some guests on for that. So as always, please, you could find, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can obviously like, subscribe, and comment here. If you're listening on the podcast form, please go ahead and share it with your other Chelsea friends. It helps grow the show. And if you've ever want to come on the show, please feel free to find me on Twitter at CFCDP1. Shoot me a DM, and we can probably work something out to get you on and talk Chelsea. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen today. Listen to me rant and rave, and your support is always appreciated. So I want to thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you very soon.